What is wrong with this? Oh, it's already on. Howdy guys, welcome back to Black Sheep Meadow. I'm Brent, and it is January 22nd, 2023. And we've got some wonderful weather here on the homestead. We have approximately 6 weeks before we begin our full swing into the spring planting season with our garden. A large part of our garden is actually put into containers. If y'all been watching our videos, y'all know that we are attempting to grow 80% of all of our own food here on the homestead this year. If you haven't seen my container gardening video or my container building video, you can go back. I'll probably leave a link for it. You can go check it out, see how we build these containers. These containers, I've got a couple of different sizes. I believe this is a 15-gallon and then a 30-gallon. The containers are heavy wood chips or wood-like material. The center section is a hay or a grass that comes out of our pasture, non-herbicided. And then the top is our topsoil and compost mixture. These two particular containers, y'all probably just saw, I'm going to have some footage of some containers that I just built here this morning. But these particular containers were built probably in August of 2021, so they're right at 18 months of age. I'm going to do some soil inspection today and see how they fared over the past 18 months. Some of these containers, you see the shorter ones and the tall ones. The tall ones actually do really well with our tomato plants. There's a lot more biomass, just a lot more nutrients in these. The tomato plants, especially this past year, we kept them almost, I think we had tomato plants almost 8 months out of this past year. So that's pretty substantial there. The smaller containers, I like growing squash out of these small containers. And I don't know if right down there. The squash containers here, they're a little bit shorter, which is great for the vines of the squash plant, because as the squash plant grows outside the container, the vines they're not going to kink and bend and break off as they come and touch the ground. First, let's look at this container right here. I'm going to get y'all in a little bit closer here. There we go, right in here. So this soil right here, this is a soil test kit. We're going to get to that in a minute. If we look at this soil, I want to assess first off, these containers were actually filled to the top, just like these. You can see this particular container, we're a little bit over the top right there, but I fully expect it to settle down just a little. However, on these containers here, you can see we've got approximately, I'm going to say 4 inches of reduction off the top. Now, some of that is compaction of the hay and the wood chips that are in the bottom of it. Some of it is just the plants that we grew in and pull the nutrients out of the soil. So what I want to do now is first we're going to take a look. You see the elm trees that are in this vicinity, they've kind of covered it up like a mulch on top, which is perfectly fine. It's protecting the soil, keeping some of the nutrients in here instead of like some of the nitrogen going to atmosphere. But what I want to look at is what this soil has done, the hay and material down in it, over the past 18 months. So let's take a look. And as of today, we're going to be, we have approximately 100 between these two containers. We have 120 of these this year that we're doing. So I'm starting early, trying to get them prepped for the spring. And you can see I'm probably we can look at this material here. This is some of the hay. I don't know if the camera is going to catch this or not. This darker material here, that is some of the broken down hay that was in the middle third of this container. See if I can get further down in there. You can't even see any of the grass anymore. All the hay and the grass is gone. It's broken down into a compost. This is really good here. This is exactly what I wanted to see. That's excellent biomass. All the plants that we grow in these containers we don't ever pull any of the root system up. We leave the roots in the ground. Some of the top of the plant, if it dies off, we'll cut it back and put it into our compost pile. But I try not to disturb the root system that's in them. All of the hay, there's a little bit of wood chip here. So I don't think we've quite broke down all the wood chips down in the bottom. So we got a couple of more wood chips, which is fine. These wood chips in the bottom of the container are, they're stopping the holes from plugging up. So it's actually giving us adequate drainage throughout the year, especially if we get heavy rainfall. So this tub right here is still doing exactly what it's supposed to do. I'm going to probably stir this soil up. We're going to add a layer of compost and our soil to the top of it. We're going to do a soil test on this one. Actually, we're probably not going to do a soil test on this one. We're going to do a soil test on this container and see where the nutrient levels are at in it. We're going to get on that soil test here in just a second. All right, let's get this soil. Now I'm just going to mix my top half. Like I see, we grew squash in this container last year. We got a chicken about to lay an egg in there, making all kinds of racket. All right, I'm going to top this container off with our topsoil compost mixture. All right, so on our containers, as you can see, I'm going to top them all off. I'm going to fluff the soil underneath, and then I'm going to top them all off with our compost. Try and level them back off here in the next 6 weeks or so. We're going to put squash back in this container. I've kind of found out over the years, I know exactly what plants do better where there's more shade and more light in different areas of the property. Typically, we like to do a lot of squash, and believe it or not, I found that they don't like some of the Texas heat. The big leaves just tend to dry out a lot faster. They consume a lot more water, so I've got areas that I put them. That being said, let's get back to our big containers. Once again, this is going to be a tomato container this year. Find my shovel. I don't know if I got to move y'all to get y'all in on this one. All right, so this container, you can see once again, the leaves have kind of created a mulch across the top. You can see I've got one plant in here that shouldn't be there. One of the great things about these containers is they're almost, I don't want to say they're weed proof. They're pretty weed resistant. We don't, unless a bird comes by and drops a seed or something like that, there's typically no weeds that are going to pop up in these. So we're going to take on this soil test. Let's talk about it for a second. This soil test is from Soil Savvy. I order them directly from their website. They're roughly $25 a test, but they give, I think it's 13 different tests as far as your macronutrients, micronutrients. It's going to give you your NPK, what fertilizers you need to add. They do everything in a parts per million. So some of the parts per million stuff, I really just don't, I don't like their green area. Some of our vegetable gardening is going to need more. Their green area is probably good for like generic all gardening. However, on some of our stuff, I like to have a little extra phosphorus, a little extra nitrogen. We're really producing a lot more vegetables than most, so we're expecting a lot more from our soil. So this is a test for it, and I'm actually going to take this soil test. It's not going to come from the top. Our soil test is going to come from a little bit further down. And let's see, I'm going to go about 4, maybe 6 inches down in here. All right. So I'm going to open this soil test up. We got a card. It comes with a envelope for mailing it off. Already postage prepaid. All the information, I just got to send it off in there. Set that to the side right now. This little container here, it actually is going to come with the card. I'm going to have to fill out my name and all my information, where this soil is coming from, whether it's lawn or turf, vegetable garden, or ornamental flower garden. But this card right here is going to give them my information to send me the information as far as what's in our soil. On the soil container, it actually has a little barcode here that we can pull off. And I barely missed it, but that's fine. That way I can track my information on my soil test later on. That way I know the date that it was sent off, where it came from, etc. and so on. So we have this little container here. This is very simple. They don't want you to add anything. The dog's choking on a stick. Chicken's laying an egg. We're doing a soil test. All right, so this little container here is all they want of your soil. Let me clean that off just a little bit. That's all they want of your soil to go inside their little vial. Do not drain the liquid out of it. And we are going to put this back together. It's going to go in here. As soon as I fill out this information, I'll seal this up and put it in the mailbox at the post office. Once again, this is Soil Savvy. I've been really impressed with this. Like I said, they give right at, I think it's 13 different samples of nutrients that are in the soil, where you're at, where you need to be. They'll even give recommendations for fertilizer. And it's been quite well. Like I said, I order them. I'm not connected with these. They're not sponsoring me or nothing like that. This is just something I purchased online. It's made in the USA. I'm a big made in the USA guy. So I'm going to get these containers stirred up, and we already know where this is. This is a tomato container. We are going to plant tomatoes in this one again this year. I'm going to top this off with our topsoil compost mixture. I've already tested our compost, so I know where our compost is at. When I get this soil test back, I'm going to do the amendments probably in late February. It'll take Soil Savvy approximately 7 days or so to get this results back to me. So in late February, if I need to make any amendments to the soil for nitrogen or phosphorus or even a pH change or anything of that nature, we're going to do that then. In the meantime, I am using every bit of good weather that this winter has brought to us for getting as much done as I possibly can, because we are going to be super busy. 80% of your own food on the homestead is very, very difficult. So I'm going to finish this up. I'll probably touch base one more time with y'all before I check out on this video. All right, guys, real quick tidbit. We got all the garden containers around our chicken run completely done. I wanted to add a little tidbit in here that if you look, all these containers are right up against the edge of the chicken coop, which is fine. I got to put a protective barrier over the wire every single year, because as the leafy greens from the plant start to grow, the chickens like to eat them. So I got to put something up to keep them from eating the plants. However, the reason I put these containers here is it's also to deterrent for predators from digging underneath the wall of the chicken coop and getting into the chicken run. So I'm going to take y'all out to our potato mound now. I don't know how much more time I have left today. We're going to see if we can start with something there. Alrighty guys, I got y'all out here at the potato mound. As you can see in the back, the big hill in the far end is actually where we grew all of our potatoes in the years past. The little mound extending out right here is what I've added so far this year. I'm probably actually going to double this because we're trying to probably grow double, if not triple, the amount of potatoes that we have in the years past. I think just this past week we've already collected about 60 pounds of all of our seed potatoes that we're going to put in the ground this year. We have, I think, what is it, right at a little over, right at a month. February 20th is going to be the day for our growing zone 8B to get the potatoes in the ground. So we're going to get that. I'm going to get that on a different video. We're not going to do that today. So you can see Amber's onion bed here in the background. It's doing fairly well. We lost maybe just a few onions to the freeze we had a few weeks ago. Nonetheless, I think she has got some more onions from that same batch that she's going to replant before the end of, or before spring gets here. In the meantime, guys, I'll get y'all on the next video on the potatoes. But in the meantime, if y'all would like, subscribe, ring that little bell, share us, leave a comment. Let us know what y'all think. If y'all got any questions, leave them down below. We'll see y'all next week.